energy practice last couple of days. Good, bad? How you liked it?
Yeah, I like what we saw in the last couple of days. I mean, I think the guys have responded the right way. They're out here competing. You know, we had crowd noise. You know, we had the chainsaw rolling today a little bit. I was spraying the balls with water. Any elements that we get, it's just ready to compete, and I think that's what our guys are ready to do.
I think it was yesterday. Dave was on with Jason Puckett, and they were talking NIL, and Puckett asked him kind of explicitly, what's your message to Coug fans who might be worried about you leaving? And Dave, who, as we know, never wanted to shy away from just blanket statement, said, I'm not leaving. I'm happy here. If you see something like that, when you see something like that, how much does that kind of fire you up knowing that one of your top players just kind of outright says something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think we've created a weird time of year, right? And it's weird for coaches. You know, you're talking about negotiations. You're talking about, you know, other teams contacting your players. You're talking about a lot of things that isn't football and distractions, quite honestly, right? And to have Dave do that, to put a stake in the ground, to say, I want to be here. I love the culture. He's got a great relationship with his coach. He's been here from the jump since I've been here. It's really important. I think it's really important. And, you know, so those are the moments that I think are big. They're important. And like I said, on paper, we got an opportunity to be a really amazing team next year with all these guys coming back, and I'm excited about that type of opportunity. And the more guys that do that, you know, I just think it grows and becomes infectious, and I really appreciate those guys wanting to be here.
Kind of in something in the same mold, the House settlement increasing the scholarships from 85 to 105. Just kind of your thoughts on that.
Well, I think the 105 is tough. You know, that means we're carrying a roster of 120. I mean, I got to cut 15 walk-on guys that deserve opportunities. We wouldn't be able to operate the way we've had the last couple of years without those guys. I mean, would we have the Cooper Mathers? Would we have the Kyle Thorntons? Would we have the Tanner Mokus? Would we have the Dean Janikowskis? All these guys that saw it all the way through, and I'm missing a bunch of other guys. So that's the thing that really hurts. I mean, tough decisions all around. I mean, really tough. And we got to be able to navigate that and operate in a new capacity. Never lock your knees. That's what I've learned over the course of the last 4 years. So we'll continue to do it the right way here at Washington State.
And, you know, with that, I mean, is that something where you guys anticipate going beyond now the 85, or how does that kind of play out?
I'm really hopeful. You know, but remember, when you have 85 like counters now, that doesn't mean you're spending 85 full scholarships, right? So the school is used to that not being 85 fulls. So we're working on that number. We're fundraising for that number. It's going to be very important because I still believe in the developmental process. As some of the Power Four goes to just staying 85, heck, if let's say we get 93 guys on scholarship, 5 more guys to develop than them, I think that's where we're going to keep creating our edge.
I asked about the offensive line the other day. You guys, are, at least until the fourth quarter or so, kind of flip-flop between Rod and Christian and left guard. Is that still the plan, or how does that kind of look for this week?
Yeah, it's still the plan. You know, I think, you know, no one has really just established themselves. I thought both of them played way more the way they're capable of last week. You know, so we're happy with both of them. But we'll kind of flip-flop by series probably going forward.
And then you mentioned Devin kind of hobbled off the field on Saturday. How's he doing, and do you expect him back?
He's a little tight. You know, we're going to really give it a go tomorrow and see where he's at. The swelling's been down. We've been just keeping him limited so far through the first couple days. So it is that time of year. If not, Brock's ready. It's like riding a bike in there for Brock, center. So he's been handling the calls. We've kind of rotated him in at times, you know, in practice, kind of preparing for this moment. So you'll see Christian and Rod out there with Brock.
So Brock at center, Christian left tackle, Rod at left guard?
No, Christian at right guard.
Or right guard?
Yeah.
And then the same tackles?
Yeah, same tackles.
Okay. Yep. that's a lot of math.
Yep.
You mentioned making adjustments on defense the other day. How much, I know you're not the DC, you have a DC for that, but how much do you kind of take responsibility for that, and what's kind of your role in making those, you know, when you have a DC as well?
Yeah, I mean, my role is an ancillary role as the head coach. You know, I do some things during the week, a couple of ideas, but during game day, I'm focused on game management, what we need to do, where we need to do, staying ahead. You know, so I'll take a little bit of different approach as we kind of go through these next 2 games, but at the end of the day, that's typically been our system.
What does a different approach kind of look like?
Well, I'll probably watch a few more of the iPads on the sideline so I can see exactly what's happening, so I can give my input, ideas, all that type of stuff.
And then John, I think he's about 70% accuracy the last like 4 or 5 games after hitting 50 or so percent the first few games. Like, what is he doing better in that way to kind of get more accurate for him?
Combination. experience, number one, right? You get experience out there, you get more comfortable. Number two, I thought it was big on that first bye week. We really settled into what John's good at, and I think you're seeing that now. And he was really good at the big ball last week. I mean, we haven't hit on some of those things. And just him feeling more comfortable in our scheme of what we're asking him to do. So credit to Coach Arbuckle, credit to John and his work ethic, and then our receivers and everybody just getting in sync.
One more kind of follow-up to the scholarship question. Is there concern from you that this would kind of revert back to what it was in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s when there were no limits and the best 10 teams would, take the best 50 players and just stick them in the warehouse kind of thing?
Yeah, I haven't thought much about that, if I'm being honest with you. At the end of the day, in the spring, there's going to be probably 15 to 20 guys cut from every Power 5 team in the country. Right? Think about that, right? So that's a tough thing to manage and handle, and I think we'll see how it all goes going forward. I mean, institutional NIL, there's a lot of things that have kind of bunched into all this type of stuff that I think is going to be just see how everyone's in a holding pattern. Like, getting it approved in April first off, and then second, getting it to application. So everyone's kind of seeing what everyone else is doing, talking around, seeing around. So we'll see kind of how it all works. When you develop a guy, you're going to want to keep him. Like, that's what football's about. So that's kind of just what our focus is right now.
And then just any update on Buddha?
Yeah, Buddha went the last 2 days in yellow jersey. I think he'll be fine, and I think he'll be ready to go. All right, guys, go Cougs.